with News 3. Governor Walker could call a special session to introduce school safety legislation.
He says he is against arming teachers, and instead mental health services are a priority for him. Our Rose Schmidt talked to local schools about what they'd like to see come out of the state capitol, and Rose is in the newsroom now.
Well, since the school shooting in Parkland, Florida, schools around the country have been making tough decisions and having even tougher conversations about what they need to do to keep their kids safe from harm's way.
From the moment you walk in the door at Yahara Elementary,
school safety is actually something that we continuously and annually review.
There are precautions in place keeping your kids safe.
We recently passed a referendum, and in this elementary school, we did some remodeling so that in order to enter the building, you have to go through the office and you get buzzed into the building.
But DeForest Area School District Superintendent Eric Runez says there's always room for improvement.
I mean, I would not be opposed to adding an additional school resource officer.
But schools would first need to find the money to do that.
School budgets are fairly tight.
Governor Walker this week announced he plans to introduce a package of legislation aimed at school safety.
We're actually putting together meaningful reforms that we think will help ensure the safety of students, teachers, faculty, and parents in our schools across the state.
No word yet on what those bills would include, but the governor has focused on mental health services at schools in the past, which is something Runez says he'd like to see again. He says schools are faced with a tough balancing act at this time.
We want schools to be warm, welcoming, inviting places because that's the educational environment our kids deserve. But it's also trying to find a balance that we can make sure that our schools are secure.
Democrats are advocating for revenue limit exemptions for school safety plans. Governor Walker says he's talking to leaders in both houses at the Capitol and plans to introduce a comprehensive school safety plan once they've agreed on it. Lawmakers plan to take up the bills this spring.
We'll continue to follow it. Rose Schmidt in the newsroom. Rose, thanks.
Senator